Degrees of Separation is a puzzle platformer built on the premise of cooperative gameplay. And if you have a friend willing to join in on the journey, or an ex-friend depending on how well you play, this could be a great title for you. So the story involves these two characters, Ember and Rhyme, who are, I guess, princess and prince of their respective kingdoms. One day, something strange is happening. Ember's land of fire is cooling down, while Rhyme's land of ice is heating up. The two somehow discover each other with what apparently appears to become some kind of dimensional break, and they team up to try and figure out what's going on. So the actual gameplay, or the basic controls, are simple. You move, you jump, and the two characters will grab onto ledges, ropes, and stuff like that. Now the footage that you're watching is of single player action, but the game is definitely designed around local co-op. That's where that split screen comes in, and developers have promised that there will be an online mode, but at the time of this recording, it was not in the game yet. So, the design of the puzzles are built around essentially shifting the dimension. As you can see, both Rhyme and Ember occupy a different space or positions on the screen. Whoever is kind of closer creates a sort of zone of control around them that influences the dimension. So if you look at the bottom left corner of the screen, that's going to be the ice version of this world, where Ember is in the northeast part of the screen is kind of the summer or spring version. And their respective dimensions will influence what's going on in the environment. As you can see with this puzzle right here, by being in certain parts of the screen will either heat up or cool off those lanterns, which in turn affects the machinery. Your ultimate goal for each puzzle is to collect those magical scarves that you see. And the scarves themselves are obviously fixed in the environment, with each puzzle relying on you to make use of both their abilities in different ways. Sometimes you'll need to use Ember to heat things up to give Rhyme the chance to get past something or to cool it off. Ember can also melt water, allowing her to go underneath things, while Rhyme freezes it, allowing things to either be frozen or walk on the frozen ice. Now, playing the single player, both the AI will basically leave a character alone unless you call to them, and then they will follow you. But the puzzles are definitely designed around cooperative play, and that does lead to a few of the issues that we'll talk about in another minute. This video is going to be on the short side because anything that I'm showing you is, well, going to be spoiling the game. But before we move on, I do want to point out that I do like the graphics. It has a very, colorful aesthetic to it, very storybook-esque. And the puzzles themselves are very varied considering the limited mechanics. From what I played of the game so far, there doesn't seem to be any kind of superpowers or extra abilities that Rhyme and Ember get. Everything seems to be built on the environmental design and the puzzles. Now that gate that you see on the right hand side, when you unlock them, those become fast travel points between gates that are connected, allowing you to quickly move through a level or get a character back to the other one, because you will have to split up for a lot of these puzzles. But we're going to do a quick shout out to our Patreon backers, and we're going to come back and talk about some of the issues I have with this game, especially if you can't find anyone to play it with. Thank you to our Patreon backers, and if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. With Degrees of Separation, this is definitely a game that is built on a simple gameplay loop that gets stretched as far as the developers were able to take it. And this does present a few issues with the puzzle design and just general gameplay. So the first thing is, like I said previously, the game is designed for single and local co-op, with online modes hopefully either out by the time you're watching this or real soon. I found the game to be a little bit frustrating playing this in single player, and I could also assume playing this local co-op. When the screen does split when two characters walk far enough away from each other, you kind of lose a lot of the I guess, the perception or depth of field in terms of trying to see where you're going, what's going on. Now, the puzzles themselves definitely run a wide berth in terms of difficulty and complexity. Some puzzles are built around basically the local environment in terms of solving them. A few of them will require you to go or look outside of the area to get the necessary items that you need. And it can be a little tricky sometimes knowing whether or not the puzzle is able to be solved now, or am I supposed to look around for a missing piece? As a bit of a quality of life complaint, the gate when you go to a gate and you stand near it, it brings up the constellation that shows basically all the scarves in a respective level. And I think I'm going to do that like right here. That can be very hard to see sometimes because the black overlay, the black background that shows up at the top, sometimes blocks it out. And it also doesn't really show you where the puzzles are. It just shows you their relative position. So you kind of still have to hunt around, which I think is a unnecessary hassle in this game. Like, if it could just actually show me, like, where the puzzles are, once I found them, that is, could help out. Now, another point about the difficulty of the game is that when I'm playing the single player, it kind of felt that some of the puzzles were harder than they need to be, or that it seemed like they were designed around both characters moving at the same time. I think this is a puzzle that I was not able to solve while I was gathering footage because I just wasn't sure how these two characters were supposed to interact with each other. But this is a good example again of how the two kind of impact the world. I could see Degrees of Separation being really popular for speedrunning pairs, considering what you can pull off from a technical standpoint with both players who have complete knowledge and mastery of the mechanics. But, like I said at the start, considering that we're spoiling this game with every second of footage, we're going to wrap things up here. So, Degrees of Separation may not be a flashy game, but it does deliver on its mission statement of cooperative puzzle design. If you do have a friend who's able to play with you, or the online mode is available and you go like that, I think this is a great game to play. But I just found things to be a little too cumbersome playing it by myself if you want to do it solo. But I'd like to thank the developers for giving me a press key to check this one out. If you'd like me to take a look at your game in the future, please don't hesitate to get in touch. But check back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until our next piece, this has once again been Degrees of Separation. Until next time, take care. If you're looking for another book about game design, be sure to check out my first title, 20 Essential Games to Study, out now. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.